So, just a thumbs up that you can still hear me. Yeah, okay, wonderful. All right. So we're going to start out in a comfortable reclined position, but as always, if you don't want to be in that reclined position, please feel free to get yourself into a different position. And you may want, if you are using the strap, just to have it handy so you don't have to search around for it when we use it in just a little while. Taking a bend in the knees if that feels supportive for the low back. And right away, feeling some heaviness perhaps as the skin, the bones, the body make contact with the ground underneath you. Inviting in some stillness and quiet awareness. And you can think about the breath as a coming home to the breath. Inviting in that sense of quiet awareness. So coming home to the breath can also be thought of as coming home to yourself in this chaotic world, finding this kind of sense of quiet and homecoming. And just being with that for a few moments. Noticing wherever the breath is felt in the body. Sometimes can be helpful to place the hands on the belly or the chest to accentuate those sensations of the body breathing itself. Feeling the breath from the inside out. One of the things that I have been working with lately that I am going to invite into our practice today is finding hope. And I have intermittently struggled with hope during this pandemic, during these cold days of the winter. And over this last week in my mindfulness practice, I've been working with hope in a little bit of a different way. So there's the hope that we can sometimes have that is very specific, very specifically wanting things to turn out a certain way, or wanting things to be a certain way, or wanting things to be some type of specific outcome. And then there's the type of hope that is a little bit more bigger, I guess, less superficial. And that's the type of hope that I've been working with lately. So how can I invite my very best self to continue to awaken in each moment? How can I continue to invite myself to see the best in other people? And that's not to say that there's not hurt and suffering in the world, or even hurt and suffering inside of my own being. But there's this bigger hope. There's this bigger hope of continuing to evolve as a human and continue to wake up this better version of myself, more evolved version. So sitting with those words for just a moment or two and noticing if they have any specific meaning for you. Getting in touch with that different type of hope, that awakening of your best self. And that's different in different moments. Your best self today might be different than yesterday or even a few minutes ago. But your initiative in wanting to be here today already exemplifies that there's that part, that inner calling within you. So sitting with that, lying with that, breathing with that. And then let's take nice and easy as you're ready that right knee and hug it in towards the chest. Left knee can be bent or it can be extended long on the mat, whichever feels most appropriate for your body right now. And then just taking that right knee and gently taking it away from the body and gently pulling it back in. Taking that another time or two. If you'd rather take some circles, you could kind of circle the knee around, make that movement a bit organic, feel liberated to do whatever the body is asking for right now. And then from here, you can either take hands behind the leg and lengthen out that right leg, or you can take your strap and loop it around, or belt, whatever you have, and loop it around that right leg. Left hand can stay on the left hip, left knee can stay bent or lengthened. We're anchoring down on the left side as we take that right leg out and then bring it back in. Definitely not forcing anything. Just starting to wake up a little bit through the hamstring muscles, inner thigh. And if it feels good to pause in one or the other kind of range of motion, feel free to do that. And then coming back to center, you can just leave that leg up, taking the strap away or taking your hands away, taking a few ankle circles in either direction. Lengthening out through the crown of the head, reestablishing your connection with the shoulders on the mat. And starting here just to engage the core a little bit. We're going to lower that right leg, keeping the core engaged, and then lift that right leg back up. So keeping that range of motion such that you can maintain control, that you're not overarching in the low back or creating strain there. And then coming back up to center, we'll take a few circles with that right leg. Again, that left leg is either extended long or the left foot is firmly planted down, anchoring down on that left side. If you haven't reversed directions already, feel free to go ahead and reverse. Finding that core engagement and stability. And then let's hug the right knee in towards the chest, lengthen that left leg long, and guide the right leg across the body with the left hand. Reaching the right arm out towards the right. And today we're going to be working a lot with side stretches. So thinking here about lengthening the right hip down and away from the right rib cage, creating space through the side. And then coming back to center, taking that left knee and We're going to work with the left side now. So we'll take that left knee away from the body and then kind of pull it back in. Right leg can be extended long, or you can have the right foot planted. Either way, we're trying to anchor down the right side as we open and bring back to center that left knee. Circles are fine if you want to make it a little more organic. Just kind of feeling into that stretch here. And then we'll lengthen that left leg. If you're working with a strap, taking that strap around the left kind of ball of the foot, flexing the foot a bit. We'll take it away from the body and then bring it back towards center. Inhaling away and exhaling towards center. Starting to initiate movement with breath. Taking that at your own pace, being curious about the sensations in the body as they arrive. And then removing that strap or your hands, whichever were supporting the leg. And we're going to take a few ankle circles in either direction. Noticing the range of motion in the toes. And then rooting down actively through that right foot, firmly rooting down through the shoulders, palms of the hands, engaging through the core. We're going to lower and lift within your range of motion. Utilizing the core to use that strength rather than using a lot of swing action or momentum. Coming back up towards center, right leg is still bent or lengthened. We're going to take those circles on the ceiling, trying not to sway too much from side to side. Trying to stay pretty anchored, isolating that movement to just the circling of the leg. And then if you haven't done so already, reversing directions. And then hugging that left knee in towards the chest. Taking the right arm to guide it across the body and reaching the left arm out towards the left. Expanding the length through the left side body. Breathing here. And then coming back through to center. If it's okay with your shoulders, we're going to reach the arms overhead. You can take the right hand, you can take the right hand around the left wrist if that's accessible. If it's not, you could have bent elbows. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk both our arms and our legs over towards the right corners of the mat. So we're getting a side body stretch through that left side. So again, if that hurts the shoulders, you could even take that right arm down, or you could take it more in a goal post position. We're getting a stretch through the left side of the body. If you want more, you can cross your left ankle on top of your right. And my shoulders tend to be pretty tight, so I have quite a bend in my elbows, but if your arms are more straight than mine, don't feel limited by my range of motion. Certainly feel free to lengthen the arms out more than mine are. Coming back through to center, we'll take that left hand over towards the right wrist and begin to walk the arms and the legs over towards the left. Getting that side body stretch now through the whole right side. Inviting a little ease into the neck and shoulders, not forcing anything. And then if you want, you can cross that right ankle on top of the left to accentuate the stretch, only if it feels good and appropriate for you. Invite some heaviness into the right shoulder. And coming back to center, squeezing the knees into the chest, maybe tucking the chin, coming into a little ball, perhaps rolling side to side. And from here, however you like to come up to a seated position, maybe you kind of want to rock and roll a little bit, maybe you want to roll to the side, whatever feels good in your body. We're going to come up to a cross-legged position. My pants are full of cat hair. That's what I get for wearing black pants, I guess. He must have been laying here. So we're going to take a cross-legged position here. And let's take our collarbone nice and broad as we draw the left ear down towards the left shoulder. And then we're going to take that right hand, if you want, and just flex it away from the body. And if you want a little bit more nice and super easy, taking that left hand and just gently letting it rest on the right side of the head, getting a stretch through the neck really, really gingerly. And then coming back upright, we'll take our right hand now to our right knee and take the gaze kind of up towards the left. Left hand is at the back of the head, and then exhaling, drawing that left elbow down towards the right knee, and then inhaling, opening the chest back up. Taking that at your own pace, focusing on that length and stretch through the left side of the body. Eyes can be opened or closed here. With all of these poses and stretches, it's more about how they feel than how they look. And the next time you're up, you can stay up with that left elbow reaching up and take the right hand over towards the right side of the body for a side stretch. And then from here, you can lengthen that left arm up, maybe reach it up and over, plugging the left hip down, reaching the left fingertips for a side stretch. And coming back to center. From here, we're going to start to draw the left ear over towards the left shoulder, keeping the collarbone broad. And you can take that right hand and flex it away from the body. You could take that left hand and again, very gently, just kind of rest it on the head. Feeling that stretch through the right side of the neck. And then we'll inhale up and exhale down, rotating here. Feeling that opening through the chest. Taking that just a couple of times. And then taking that left hand to the left side of the body and reaching the right arm up and open. Feeling that elongation through the side body. Gaze can come up or stay forward. And then coming all the way back upright, maybe taking just a little side to side with the head, with the neck, letting go of any tension that created in the neck or upper body. From here, we're going to take our left foot to the inseam of the right leg, sit up nice and tall, and then take that right hand and just kind of walk it down the right leg a little bit. Turn the chest open towards the left and reach the left arm up and over. Trying to create space here through the right side body. So lift and space rather than collapsing. We're creating lift and space there, obviously getting that stretch through the left side, but kind of focusing on that right side a little bit too, so that we're staying active and engaged on the right side and lengthening on the left side. Taking the left hand behind, reaching the right arm up and open. And then if you want, you can lift up onto that left shin, getting an even deeper stretch through the whole front of the body, through the left side body. Hips down or up, whichever is best for you. And then setting the hips back down if they were up, framing the left leg and taking a twist over towards the left. Lengthened spine. You can take that right hand if you want to and walk it a little further over towards that left leg, or you can frame the leg, whatever's best for you. Keeping length in the body. And then coming back to center, and we're going to switch sides. So now that right foot is at the inseam of the left leg. Left foot can be flexed, kneecap up towards the ceiling, and then beginning to walk that left hand down to the shin, the foot, whatever's accessible, and right away opening and lifting through that right side body. Finding length through the right side body, but finding strength through this left side body. So lifting up and out, so you're not kind of just dumping the weight into the left side body. Breathing here. Eyes are opened or closed. Inviting curiosity to the pose and to whether or not you want your eyes opened or closed. And then we'll take that right hand down, reach the left arm up and open, getting some space through the left side body. If you want to elevate up onto the right shin, feel free to do that. If you want to stay planted on the hips, feel free to do that. Either one is fine. Lifting the hips or keeping them planted. Stretching and lengthening through the whole left side, all the way from the toes to the fingertips. And then exhaling, releasing down from that. And we'll frame our right leg, taking that twist over towards the right, rooting down actively through the legs, the hips. If you want to take the hand a little bit further, that left hand a little bit further over towards the right knee, that's fine. Prioritizing some length through the spine, through both sides of the body. And then coming back to center. If you don't want to be on hands and knees, you can sit in a cross-legged position. If you're okay with being on your knees, we're going to come to our knees. And we're going to just kind of fold over ourselves, taking the forehead down, coming into a little ball with palms of the hands up towards the sky. And if you're in a cross-legged position, feel free to take that into a forward fold in a cross-legged position. Also fine to be seated on a chair for this, just folding over your legs. On the inhale, articulating the spine up and then reaching the arms up, stretching the chest open, and then exhaling down. Taking that with your own breath. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Finding some articulation through the spine. One vertebra at a time, tucking the tailbone first on the way up, and then ending with the neck and the head, And taking that in the reverse direction on the way down. And we'll meet in the up position. And again, if you're not wanting to be on the knees, you can do this from a seated position. We'll take our right leg out towards the right, gently press the hips forward, and then take that left arm and reach it up and over. Trying to stay open as best as possible through the front body. Feel that strength on the right side, that right oblique muscles, and the length on the left side. So working in opposition a little bit here, rather than just surrendering to that kind of collapse of the right side. And then let's take that left hand down and we'll reach the right leg up, continuing to press the hips forward. Both arms can reach here. You can stay here, or, and this one is not for everyone, you may not like how it feels, but if it's accessible and you'd like to grab a hold of your left foot or your left ankle, pressing the hips forward, opening up through the chest, you can feel free to take that variation as well, getting a quadricep stretch. And then releasing down from that. From here, we'll take our left leg out towards the left, slide that left hand down and reach the right arm up and over, coming into that side stretch. They call this one gate pose. Lots of strength through the left side, lots of length through the right side. Do what feels best for your neck. Might feel good to take the gaze up, keep it neutral, or take it down. Either way, we're keeping some openness through the chest and gently pressing the frontal hip points forward. On the next exhalation, planting the right hand, lifting that left leg, opening up through the chest, rotating the left hip and left shoulder open. And if you want, if it feels good in your body, you can start to take a bend in that top leg and draw the heel towards the glutes, pressing the hips forward. And exhaling, releasing out of that. And we'll make our way to a standing position, standing forward fold to start. As much softness in the knees as you'd like. Hinging at the hips. And then on the next inhale, coming all the way up, reaching the arms up here, we'll take the right hand to the left wrist, reach over towards the right. On the inhale, come center, and on the exhale, switch sides. On the inhale, coming back to center, and on the exhale, sweeping the arms behind. Here you can lift the chest if you'd like to. You can reach the arms back, or you can lace the fingers and lift the chest a little bit more. If that lacing of the fingers is not good for your shoulders, honor that, respect that. If it feels good, then go ahead and do it. We'll take a deeper bend in the knees than we'd normally do for forward fold and start to hinge forward at the hips, drawing belly and chest towards the thighs. Arms can reach up towards the sky, either with laced fingers or with arms separated. On the next inhalation, releasing the arms, sweeping them forward and all the way up to standing. And we'll take that once again, taking the left hand to the right wrist, reaching over towards the left. Back to center, over towards the right. Back to center. Take the arms behind with laced fingers or not. Lift the chest, bend the knees and start to fold forward, belly and chest towards the thighs, laced fingers towards the sky. Feel that length through the back as the tailbone reaches back. Releasing the clasp of the hands and sweeping the arms all the way up. From here, we'll pause in this up position. One more side bend here. We'll take our right hand to our left wrist and reach over towards the right. And from here, if you want, you can take your left foot and cross it behind the right. Take a little bend in the front knee and just accentuate that side bend a little bit so that front right knee can be bent just a little bit. Coming back to center, switching the clasp, reaching over towards the left. If you want, you can step that right foot behind, accentuating that stretch a bit, continuing to maintain lift through the chest so that left side body is engaged, right side body is stretching. And then coming back to center. Let's take a few shoulder rolls back and a few shoulder rolls forward, letting go of any tension that may have created, maybe a bit of an arm swing. And stepping up to the top of the mat. If you're not already there, we're going to come into a sun salutation. So we'll reach the arms up on the inhalation and exhale. Knees can come soft, hinge at the hips, fold forward, invite length into the spine. Maybe shake the head no, release the jaw, the neck, shake the head yes. On the next inhalation, we'll take a halfway lift. Hands can come to the shins. They can come to the mat, blocks, whatever you can make contact with here. And then on the next exhalation, fold forward. Let's step our right leg back into a lunge position, left knee stacked on top of left ankle, and we'll inhale up for lunge position, for standing lunge position. And then with the next exhalation, we're going to begin to straighten the left knee and reach the right arm forward and left arm back. So we're going to move with this a little bit. Re-bend the left knee, reach the left arm up, right arm down, and then straighten. Left arm comes back, right arm comes forward, bending, and then straightening. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches back. And we'll take that one more time. Inhaling, left arm up, right arm down, bending the knees, straightening the knees, right arm forward, left arm back, and then coming back up to neutral. From here, we'll take our left hand and just kind of plug it into the left hip and reach the right arm up and over for a side bend. Chest is lifted. And if all this side bending gets to the point where it's not feeling good anymore, or it's feeling like you need something else, definitely feel liberated to do that. You could take a different variation if you wanted to. I often do that when I take classes online. Coming back to center, placing the hands down onto the mat, maintaining that lunge in the left knee, planting the right hand either on the block or the mat, and we'll reach the left arm up for a twist. Actively reaching that right heel back, and exhaling, releasing down. Taking your transition to down dog, however you'd like to take it. You could come to all fours first. Step that left foot back to meet the right. Pedaling out the feet here. And if you want, you can scooch the feet a little closer together and pivot both heels over towards the left, getting a stretch through the right side body. And then both heels over towards the right, getting a stretch through the left side body. And then coming back to center, perhaps pedaling the feet a little bit more. I like to remind myself to almost claw the mat with my hands, really driving the finger pads down onto the mat, not just the heels. Otherwise, the heels of the hands seem to kind of take over in my body. And then on The next inhalation, you can make your way into a plank position, broadness through the chest. You can be on the knees or not. Crown of the head and heels actively reach in opposition. And then again, on the knees or not, lowering all the way down to the mat. And from here, we'll reach the arms forward. Reach the crown of the head forward. Start to engage a little bit through the quadricep muscles, picking the kneecaps up off of the mat. And from here, we'll lift the right arm and the left leg and exhale, release. Inhale, lift and lengthen left arm and right leg. And taking that at your own pace, alternating, lifting opposite arm and opposite leg, continuing to keep the frontal hip points rooted, continue to keep the neck neutral. You can take that a little faster, a little slower, doing what's right for you. And then let's pause in stillness for a moment. Hands can come to the forehead. You can just stack the hands one on top of the other. Windshield wiper the legs a little bit. You could also press back to child's pose if you'd like to. And then releasing from that, pressing back to either child's pose or downward facing dog. And from here, taking your transition however you would like to. You can step your right foot forward, leave the left foot back, coming to all fours first or just swinging it forward. Making sure that the knee is stacked on top of the ankle for joint stability. You can grab a hold of the calf muscle and just kind of drag it forward so it's in the right position for you. And then begin to come up into our standing lunge position. So from here, we'll begin to hinge forward, taking that left arm forward, right arm back, and then inhale up, left arm down, right arm up. So taking that movement, that dynamic balance, bending both knees, and then lengthening both knees, hinging forward, keeping that length through the side waist as you reach forward. And the legs don't have to come perfectly straight. Taking that a few more times. And then the next time you're in the up position, you can take that right hand and just plug it into the right hip for stability. Take that left arm and reach it up and over, getting that side stretch. Lengthening out the neck a little bit if it feels compressed. Steadying your gaze. And then taking that left hand down and reaching the right arm up, coming into a twist. Taking a breath or two here. And exhaling, releasing right hand back down. We'll step the left foot forward to meet the right, finding a halfway lift, lengthening here. And then exhaling, folding in, knees can be soft. Crown of the head can be heavy, torso is lengthened, creating space through both sides of the waist. And then rooting through the feet to rise, inhaling, articulating the spine all the way up to standing. Inhaling, reaching the arms up. And then exhaling, hinging forward, coming back to your forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, folding back in. And from here, we're going to step the left foot back, this time for warrior one legs. So before you come up, you may even want to check that you have a little bit wider than heel to heel alignment. And your left toes are facing that top left corner of the mat, lunges in the right knee. Warrior one. Hands can come to the hips to start out with, just kind of plugging the feet down, making any adjustments that you need to make to feel more stable here. Rooting down through the pinky edge of the left foot. And then arms can reach up when you're ready, or you can keep hands holding on to something. If you have a counter or a chair or a wall and you'd rather hang on to that, go ahead and hang on to something rather than reaching the arms up. On the next exhalation, we're going to hinge at the hips, keeping length through the spine, reaching the torso forward, and then inhaling, rising back up, trying to maintain stability in the legs as we move the upper body. Inhaling up, exhaling down, taking that with your breath, allowing the breath to guide the movement. Continuing to plug the feet down onto the mat and accentuate that length and space in the spine between pelvis and rib cage through the side waist. And the next time you're up, you can stay up, release the arms down, and take the feet a little bit closer together. Both sets of toes can turn pretty much forward. We're going to come into pyramid pose, and I'll give you a couple different options here. As many of you know, I like to start with my hands kind of on my hips, especially that right hand, just kind of digging into the hip crease to encourage the hip crease to reach back towards the back of the mat, creating a little bit of a more evenness through the hips and stretch through the leg. Now here, your hands can come down to something if you'd like. They can come down to the mat, chair, blocks, or you can keep them at the waist. Now, if your hands are here on something, you can start to bend through your left knee and then lengthen. So you're staying on the ball of the foot, you're bending and lengthening the left knee, but staying on the ball of the left foot. And just notice how that feels in the body. So isolating the movement to that bending and lengthening of the left knee. Everything else just kind of comes along for the ride, keeping length in the spine, length in the side waist. And then from here, you can take that into a twist. So you can take your left hand down to your block or your mat and reach that right arm up towards the sky or take it to the low back. And again, it's important here to try to keep the hips as level as possible. So that right hip crease, remember we were pulling it back before, you can take your thumb and kind of dig it in there and pull it back, trying to keep it there, or you can just kind of remember that sensation if you don't need to physically do it. I often need to physically actually take my hand there to kind of remember. And we'll come back to center, placing hands back onto the mat or the chair, blocks, whatever you're using. And we'll take that left leg up towards the sky, coming into standing splits. Standing splits is like our forward fold, single leg forward fold. Spine is long, hinges at the hips. Breathing here. And then gently releasing left foot down to meet the right. And we'll inhale for a halfway lift, reaching the chest forward. And exhale, fold back in. And let's step our right foot back for warrior one here. So right toes are angled towards the top right corner of the mat. Left knee stacked on top of left ankle, and we'll plug the feet in as we come all the way up. Arms can reach up here. Kind of feeling a bit of a squeeze perhaps through the right glutes as you plug that right foot down on towards the mat and kind of turn the torso forward. Invite some length and space through both sides of the body. Just gonna get my block so it's a little closer up towards the top of the mat. And from here, we'll exhale down, arms can reach back, and inhale, rise up. So we're keeping that bend in that front knee, keeping our warrior one legs as we hinge and as we lift. You can move with the breath here if you'd like to. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Building strength and heat and stability in our legs. Excellent. And the next time you're up, you can stay up, release the arms down, step the feet maybe a little bit closer. And we're going to begin that hinge into pyramid pose. So hands can come to the hips, encouraging both hip creases to reach back, especially that left side. Hands can come down if you'd like, or stay on the mat, or stay on the hips rather, if you'd like. From here, we're gonna come to the ball of that right foot. So you might need a longer stance than you would normally have in pyramid pose. And then we'll bend and lengthen through that right knee. Now again, this is totally optional if it doesn't feel good. Either take some time to readjust your stance, kind of invite some curiosity into it, see if there's a way to do it a little bit better for your body, or simply come into the regular pyramid pose that we normally do without the movement. Coming back into stillness, you can use your block or you can take your right hand down to the mat, and we'll reach that left arm up as we come into our twisting pyramid, continuing to plug that right foot down onto the mat, right heel. So if the stance needs to be shorter, feel free to take the stance shorter. And on the next exhale, releasing from that, and we'll take that right leg up towards the sky, hinging over the left leg. Releasing right foot to meet the left. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, folding in. And rooting through the feet to rise, coming all the way up to standing. We'll do a couple of balance poses here before we start to make our way down to the mat. So from here, we're going to start out with tree pose. So finding feet rooted down actively onto the mat, shoulders down and away from the ears, lengthen the spine, perhaps gazing at a focal point. And then we'll pour the weight into the left foot. You can take that right foot to the inseam of the left leg. You can take it down low, up high, whatever works for you. And I'm gonna just do this side bending variation, but you can do tree however you want to. So I am going to today take my hand and just kind of leave it there. So my right hand is just staying there. And then I'll take my left arm and reach it up and over for a leaning tree pose. Continuing the theme of side bending. So keeping some strength in that right side and finding the length in the left side. And coming back to center and starting to take that lean over towards the left. So we'll come into star pose, both hip points turn forward, arms can stay on, can stay down or hands on the hips, or you can reach them up and over kind of at a diagonal, or you could have them out towards the sides. And planting that right foot down, we'll take the left foot to the inseam of the right leg. You can have it down low or up high. Opening up through the hips. And if you want to take that leaning tree variation, you can begin to take your right arm and reach it up and over. Finding a focal point to gaze at. Inviting length into the right side body, strength into the left side body. And from there, tipping over towards the right, coming into that star pose. Arms can reach actively. They can be reaching out directly from the shoulders, or if you want to reach them overhead, opening up that front body. So you're kind of taking that left hip and left shoulder back, slightly engaging through the core, through the oblique muscles. And releasing down from that. Let's step the feet out wide. We'll just do one more thing here. Step the feet out wide and turn the toes slightly out, heels slightly in. Take a bend through the knees, so knees follow the toes. Open up the arms into goalpost arms. And then we'll take that left elbow towards the left leg. Inhale, center. Exhale, switch sides. Taking that slow and with control, keeping the chest open. So you're contracting one side and lengthening the other, staying strong through the oblique muscles, working in opposition. One side is being stretched, the other side is working on being strong. And coming back up to center, pivoting the feet so that the heels are slightly out from the toes. Slide the left hand down the left side, reach the right arm up and over. Open up through the right shoulder, tuck the left. And again, remembering not to collapse, but to continue to maintain strength on the left side. And then we're going to sweep that left arm down kind of into a forward fold, that right arm down into a forward fold. Take the right hand down towards the right side and reach that left arm up and over. Breathing here. Feeling that length and space through the left side. And then simply sweeping that left arm down and coming all the way back up to standing. And you can heel toe the feet back towards one another. And we're going to make our way down to the mat in a reclined position. Taking your time to get down there. Hug the knees in towards the chest as you're ready. And then with the Right hand will take both knees over towards the right. Left arm reaches out towards the left. Breathing here. Start to invite a little bit of letting go to occur in the body as you feel the support of the ground underneath you. Taking those legs over towards the left. The left hand could rest on the right outer knee just to give it a little bit of weight. Right arm can reach out towards the right. Encourage the right hip to reach down from the right rib cage. Invite some softening into the face and the jaw. And coming back through to center, we'll take the feet about mat width distance apart, a little bit wider than hip width distance. And take the legs over, both legs over towards the right. Encourage the left knee especially to reach down. Getting a stretch here through the left side of the body, left hip. And then sway both legs over towards the left. Encourage that right knee kind of down. Shoulders stay rooted. And coming back to center. Taking the soles of the feet together, knees can come open. Finding a pretty neutral low back, maybe even kind of tucking the low back, connecting it to the mat. And then if you'd like to, you can take a slight lift or elevation of the hips up off of the mat, continuing to press the feet towards one another. Keeping the neck long, shoulders and shoulder blades and arms rooted. And then articulate the spine all the way back down onto the mat. And some people like to stay like this for Shavasana, for our resting pose. Some people prefer to take legs out or take a bend in the knees. Wherever you are, starting to settle into that final resting pose. Coming back to that shared intention for hope. Not that outcome-based hope, but that sense of internal hope, that big picture hope. Meeting the best version of ourselves right now. Knowing that that version is right here with us. And that it's also in others around us. That person that is continuing to evolve and grow and try and do our best. I have a short reading to share with you while you're here resting in this quiet space. This is from Barbara Kingsolver. Here's what I've decided. The very least you can do in your life is figure out what you hope for. And the most you can do is live inside that hope. Not admire it from a distance, but live right in it, under its roof. What I want is so simple, I almost can't say it. Elementary kindness. Perhaps inviting a bit of movement back into the body here, or perhaps staying in stillness. Being nice and easy with yourself as you either stay resting in stillness or as you make your way up to a seated position. I'd like to thank you all so very much for being here today, for sharing your practice and sharing your positive energy with each other and with me. Namaste.